There we go. Turn the volume off. Hello. I have a cup of coffee. I have a few moments. I'm going to be flying the bus and talking to you a wee bit about the CSM while I'm doing so. So let's hit the undock button. I assume if you're watching this, it's because you're a player of EVE Online. Hello, Nirauk. And so this is dual purpose. It's been a while since I chatted with you guys. Hey, Sawyer. But I wanted to do a tiny little CSM report, let you know where things are and what's coming, and then we can discuss other things as it goes. So what I'm doing is called a bus run, and this is where I drive what I call the bus, which if you look at this ship, you will see why I call it the bus, which right now is carrying some ships. Which I will be delivering to various points, career systems along the way. In Galente space is today's bus run. But while I'm doing that, like I said, I want to talk to you a bit about the CSM because I am one of the CSM members, who knew, and we have been having our regular meetings about once a week at least, sometimes twice. I cannot tell you what CCP talks to us about because that's part of the non-disclosure agreement, the NDA that we sign at the beginning of this. What I can tell you is we are not going to have a summit this year. CSM, this is where they actually fly CSM members to Iceland, which is cool. I've been 4 times, to talk directly to the devs. Now, you have no concept of how powerful the summit is. This is a chance to sit down and be face to face with the devs, to sit in a meeting room, be all official, give and take. They'll have their laptops and computers up and be able to pull up stats at a moment's notice, and we can have a real viable discussion that isn't broken up by Zoom or by Microsoft meetings or whatever we happen to be using. It's when you have a chance to talk to a person face to face, you get a much better feel for the reaction. You can read the room. You can get things done. And I know over the past year, the whole world has had to learn to talk through Zoom. Schools are running through Zoom. It's been weird. And because of that, we're not having a summit. We're relegated to the same level that everybody else is. But like I said, it's not as powerful. It is not as direct. If I was still teaching, I would much rather be in front of a class than talking to a screen like this. If I had the choice, I would much rather sit down with a beer with you in some pub at Eve Fan Fest at Eve Vegas and talk bullshit about ships rather than talk to you and hope that 1 or 2 of you type and say hello in Twitch chat, or leave a comment down below if I put this recording in YouTube. Face-to-face has power. And so I really think this year's CSM has been partially crippled because we have lost that direct access, that power that we would really like to see. It is what it is. So the second thing I want to talk about, I got a little list here down below. If you see me keep glancing down, and the reason why I'm wearing the specs is so I can read my own damn notes and keep track of what I want to say. Even though we don't have a lot of power, we're still arguing for things that we would like to see, and getting some of them, not getting others, being put off. Some things, Brisk has been championing the red dot for forever and a day. And if they ever give it to him, I think his head will just go and it'll just be Matani on the meta show. There we go. Sorry, I have to fly the ship as well, so I do get slightly distracted now and again. We're asking for various things. We're discussing things. There is always, every year I have been with the CSM, balance becomes an issue. Rebalancing the ships, rebalancing the modules. And this year is no different than any others. And there are balance changes to come. There are balance changes that have happened. I think we just saw some hit in the last week or so. In answer, Sawyer, my CSM thing, I'm the new bro. Not as in I'm young and fresh-faced. I'm the guy who represents the new players, the new player experience. This is what the bus is. I go around trying to help them as much as possible. Now, I've been in the game a long time. I can't claim to be a new bro the way that I used to be, but I still represent them, try to keep them forward in my thoughts whenever I'm looking at things. So if they're talking about changes to capitals, I keep my mouth shut for the most part because new bros don't fly capitals. On the other hand, if they're talking about something like the expert systems, which is on my list to talk about in a second, so I might as well just shift down to that. Things that are made for the new players, for the new player experience, this is my bailiwick. This is where I step in. And so when I see something, I have to evaluate it, say, yes, this will work, this will be a good idea, or this won't work and you're just going to look bad. And I will tell CCP both things. So with the expert systems, our biggest worry was the price tag attached to it. If it got too expensive, and one or two things are arguably on that list, then it's a mistake. And I try to warn them in advance. The nice thing about being CSM, God, how many CSMs have I been on? 8, 9, 10. This is my 4th one. So I know some of the devs, and they know that I'm not one to bullshit them or to be saying something because it will make my people better. It will give me some sort of unfair advantage in the game. I don't have an alliance. I don't even have a corp. You click on me and you get the fact that I'm in scope, which I find hilarious. So Sawyer's asking, and I am trying to answer some questions as we go along, do I think that the expert systems are a good thing? To a certain extent, yeah. A chance to taste before you buy it. You see this in a lot of other games. People are acting like this is something brand new. It isn't. It's just new to Eve. The thing I like is it also will set up a training queue, or it's supposed to, so that after it leaves, you can see this is the path to get back to there now that I've paid for it, had my 7-day trial. The other thing is just from a purely business point of view, what it does is it gives a person a reason to log in every day. I paid for 7 days. It's not 7 days of using it. It's the next week I have to play if I want to use the $2 that I blew on this. And you've seen the clips. You go back to old things, and I'll try to remember to reference exactly when they had the gaming term is churn, which is how fast you burn through players. And the churn in Eve in the first 48 hours is horrific. We have lots of people log in for the first time and go. And this is why I have the focus on the new players. I'll get to the next question is in a second. So it is we want to find reasons to keep them here. The 2 or 3 best ones are give them a monetary reason, give them a fear of missing out reason, which is the login rewards that you see. Monetary is if you've even sunk $2 into it, people will tend to come back and try to play for the $2. And the funny thing is that if you have people who play a week, the drop-off rate gets much less. We've got this huge speed bump at the beginning of the game because Eve is so different than all the other games that people log in expecting something like World of Warcraft, where you get led by the nose nicely for a while to learn the game, whereas this is more like, yeah, here's a ship, good luck. So, Narok, you're asking, isn't alpha count? One would think it is, but the thing is, they still have that horrific churn, so apparently there's no investment. If it's free to play, people go in, go, this looks hard, and then log out and never come back again. So it's not working the way that it's supposed to. It doesn't have that hook to set into the player to make them invest a bit of time, learn a bit of the game, get a little better at it. So the other thing I want to talk about, I had expert systems here, and there are some things I hope they never, ever, ever do as an expert system. And you can probably think of some yourself. That would be a bad idea to give people even a one-day taste. This also leads to something I did not know, and it came up in one of the forum threads, because I go into the forums to talk to you guys and to listen, is, did you know on Steam you can buy a 7-day Omega? I did not know that. I thought Omega was 30-day chunks, take it or leave it. But it seems like if you buy via Steam, you can actually buy a 1-week chunk, because there are people who've been asking for other clone choices between, other than Alpha and Omega, having Gamma, Lambda, whatever, being able to chunk it out. So if you want to show up for a war, but you don't want to sink the full $15, then you have a choice. By the way, for those of you who aren't vets and are wondering why I activate a micro warp drive, you'll notice that it only goes for one cycle and then turns off. This is called the MWD trick, and it just helps me get this huge beast into warp faster. So when I'm warping, because the bus has the handling ability of a real bus, no turn radius, and does not get going fast. So you do what you can to make things work. Let's see, where was I? Oh, right, expert systems and newbies. The CCP has been trying to focus on the new player experience, because I'm fairly sure that they are as, oh man, I wish I had the right word. More coffee. Appalled. I think CCP, and perhaps even Pearl Abyss, is more appalled by the churn and the number of people who try out EVE but don't stay with it for longer than just log in. Confusing. Gone. And so they want to see the more players in here, and this is to all of our advantage. If you play EVE, you want as many players in here. People to fly with, people to shoot, people to scan, people to work, build with, people to make your own empire. This game would be really boring as a single-player game, and I know I wouldn't have stayed with it if it was a single-player game, although I played the hell out of Elite. Not Elite Dangerous Space or whatever that game is. I mean the really old Elite. I had the box here somewhere. I played it on an Apple. So, yeah, I think that has become a priority for them when they started to see it as, now, remember, CCP is a business. If you were running a store and customers took one step into the store, looked around, went, yikes, nope, and stepped out of the store, as a business owner, you would be going, I need to fix this. I need to find something that keeps the people in the doorway or coming into the store more. So it is to CCP's best interest to invite the customers in, make them welcome, give them reasons to stay. It's also in our best interest as players of this game, because if the game gets not enough players, then slowly, well, you know the old running joke, EVE is dying. Let's see. Zirin, you do not know how much I have been beating that drum to death. I actually have a page in the internal CCP wiki of all the problems with the new player experience, of every misstep, mistranslation, misinstruction, missing opportunities. And, I know that some of them have read it because I can see that. And I hope that sooner or later something will take hold. But, what's the old joke? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Or use horticulture in a sentence. You can lead a horse to culture, but you can't make her think. Sorry, my brain goes sideways before I finish my coffee. Sooner or later, I'll calm down, but this is not that time. The other thing going on right now is the Grand Prix, which is, I'm seeing a lot of screaming from people about the Grand Prix because they don't get it. Not everything is for everybody. If they make a change, suppose they focused an entire quadrant and made nothing but new player experience changes. The vets would be yelling, yeah, what about us? This is a waste of time. Caps still need fixing. We want an SOE super carrier. And there would be complaints all over the place. You can't make everybody happy, but you need to fix things at different times. The Grand Prix, a whole bunch of newbies are trying to fly the damn thing. They have no idea about things as simple as hitting warp as fast as possible. They'll stop, decloak, and then wonder why they died. Or they don't know to use gate check, and so they go through a gate, smart bomb camp, and they die. And then they immediately complain, stupid game anyways, because they haven't figured out that not every piece of the game is for every player in the game. Sorry. Yeah, I agree, Sawyer. It's people are to a certain extent, you and I, we're the content. The game is just a backdrop. Somebody once called Eve a really beautiful chat server. Also a reason to learn Excel, but that's beside the point. It is a big game and it has a lot of stuff to it, but it is the people, it is the connections that make the game important. So perhaps, and I know at least I've talked to a couple of rookies in Rookie Help Chat who have told me that they've made connections because they actually tried the Grand Prix, blew up, and then the people who blew them up contacted them, said, damn, you're 1 day old and trying this? Good on you. And then they've been recruited, they've been meeting people. So even though they might not finish the Grand Prix, they've won a prize. They just haven't realized it yet if they follow through. Now, let's see, Grand Prix. Next thing. So like I said at the beginning, the CSM is still meeting. We are still getting around to places, talking to people. Everybody has their own area of specialty. But just because I say I represent the new bros, if you have a complaint about something and you find the others aren't responding, send me an email. Contact me. I usually respond to, I don't know how. I don't think I've ignored anybody's email, even the people who attack me, in the past year. If you send something to me, if you give some attack saying, what was the one some person said, I'm perhaps the most dangerous person in the game to the game. I love that. It makes me feel powerful. I'm not. I'm trying to help. I'm doing my best. But then somebody once said that somebody trying to help can break more stuff than the people who are actually just stand back and let the professionals work. I'll keep trying to help. You may want to stand back. So we're still meeting. But if you look, it's spring. Now I don't know where you live. Spring may have different meanings, or it may come much later for you. But where I live, the cherry blossoms are out. I can go for a walk with a light jacket, not bundled up. I live in Canada. I can. But the other thing is, spring means that the end of my term is coming. Probably in a month or two. CCP has not made any announcements about an election yet, but they will. And when they make those announcements, then that kind of signals that we are rounding the last corner and on the straightaway towards the finish line. So if there are things you want me or one of the other CSMs to put forward before the election, I would get on it and start talking to us, because if you don't talk to us, we don't know what you want. If we don't know what you want, then we just go with what we got. I have a thing called the Green Book. I like this book. It is mine. It is where I write all of my Eve notes in for CSM. So I have a page dedicated to people saying, we would like to see X. And I write, number 17. Somebody would like to see this, if it's not a stupid idea. Now, I've had people asking for things that would be so OP that it would break the game in half. I've also had people asking for things that are so niche that 3 people in the game will appreciate and everyone else will go, why did we waste dev time on that? Try to be somewhere in between those 2 extremes, okay? But as I go through, I tick off what I have managed to get to the right, or hopefully the right dev, because sometimes it's not talking about anything to Hilmar. Hilmar is the CEO of the company, and he may make grand decisions like, selling the company to Pearl Abyss, but he does not make individual decisions as to, whether this ship is going to change or that ship. It filters down, and of course it's the mid-level team heads and the actual devs who can do it, who can say, I'll take that, I'll take it back. I just wrote 2 huge letters, and they were not to Hilmar, they were to specific devs and team leads, hoping that this would get things done. That's the biggest part of being on the CSM, is making those contacts. And that goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning. Sitting down with them for a beer or whatever is your beverage of choice. Like I said, coffee. You get to know them, to know whether they're going to listen to you, how to approach it, how to sell it. One dev might worry more about balance, so you pitch it in terms of balance. Another one might be looking at the bottom line of how much is it going to cost to do, and how many players will it bring, how will it look, what will be the visuals for it. And so part of my book is also notes on people, because I'm old and forgetful, and I've got the worst facial memory. So if I ever do meet you and I've met you before and I look kind of lost, like I can't remember where I know you from, it's me, not you, okay? It's just I'm good with various things, and my memory is like a fly trap that holds all sorts of useless little flies and refuses to keep the important stuff like people's faces and names. Picture me as a teacher, because I was, and I had the same problem then. I didn't make a seating plan, but I was tempted to, just so I could glance down and see who was who. No, I haven't decided if I'm running for the next election. I'm trying to decide, but there are a lot of real-life considerations to keep in mind. I would like to serve again. I enjoy this. It gives me something to do. Although I still drive the bus on a regular basis, it makes me feel like I'm helping as much as I can. And if I sit back and watch others do it, then I should be happy for what I get. If I want to see the good changes, I have to work towards them. And if I want to see changes in the game, well, that's what I'm doing, is working towards it. And if you're watching this video and you are a part of the EVE community, then I'm also working towards it for you. So if you got any questions, I don't even know if there's anyone in chat right now, because I can't see how many people are there. I could have had people went, hello, and then left. Doesn't matter. I'm also going to post this on YouTube. If you want to hit the subscribe button down below, feel free. It doesn't matter to me. I try to tweet when I put a recording up in YouTube, so if you follow me on Twitter, that's fine too. I'm not I'm an old man. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm never going to be famous that way. I'm a player of a game that I love. I play a lot of games. Sometime I'll stream another one if I can ever figure out how to get a different game to show in the background. But I didn't want to make this long. I just want to have a little chat with you guys to update you. Like I said, if you got issues in the game you want addressed, talk to me, post it in the forums, or if the election comes up and you think you can do a better job, run. If I'm running against you, I'll welcome you to the race. It is never a competitive thing with me. It's a cooperative. Bunch of people get elected. It can be both you and me. I'm okay with that. Hopefully sometime at some live meet down the road, we'll get a chance to sit down, have a coffee, a beer, rum, whatever. Till then, you guys have a good time.